welcome back to the GorillaBiker. And today what we're going to be talking about is a little bit about all the Healtech products that I have used so far. A bit of a Healtech product review. Chief among those, I suppose, the Quickshifter that I have on this bike. Jesus, you're going slowly. It's going to nip past you, because you're incredibly slow. So to kind of run through, I suppose, all the products that I have so far used. I've used the Healtech Thunderbox on the CBF. I have used the Healtech Speedo Healer on the GSX-R, and I have, of course, the most obvious one, used the Healtech Quickshifter on this wonderful Aprilia. But yeah, we'll do a quick run through of them. So I suppose first and foremost, we'll do a quick flip through that's the Quickshifter. It works very, very well. And it's a hell of a lot of fun. I think Quickshifters, if you've never used one, they add a lot of enjoyment to pretty much any bike that I've ever used. They're just a fun thing, you know. Do they add actual functionality to a bike? Probably not. Do they add performance to a bike on the road? Probably not. But they're a hell of a lot of fun. But before I talk about the Quickshifter too much, I want to talk about the Thunderbox. So the Thunderbox I fitted to the CBF because I had my USB charger, my heated grips, and basically I didn't really want to be tapping into a like an ignition switch live. Not for any particular reason that I don't think it's a sensible thing to do or anything like that. Nothing like that. You know, you can tap into a switch live, absolutely no problem. It's a perfectly normal thing to do on bikes. But definitely the reason I didn't want to do it is reversibility. So, you know, I can remove, okay, granted, taking off the heated grips would be a pain in the ass, but if I want to remove that USB charger and the Thunderbox itself, it's a couple of bolts and a couple of little pinned connections, and I can just connect the heated grips back up to directly to the battery like I had them before previously. And a huge, I suppose, positive to that is, you know, if you're selling the bike and you want to sell it stock for whatever reason, you want to keep your bits, it's very good to do that. The other bonus to that is the Thunderbox itself, it works really, really well. So the whole point of it is, you know, you don't have to chop into a switch live, and also it'll make sure that all your accessories turn off when the bike is turned off. Now I have tested this on the CBF and it works perfectly. It works exactly as you would expect. So basically when, you know, your voltage goes above a certain amount, the Thunderbox detects that, kicks in, and starts charging your stuff through USB or turns on your heated grips. And why that's a nice thing as well is, you know, you can tell on the CBF, for instance, if your bike actually isn't charging properly anymore, because, you know, it won't actually be working properly, which, you know, as a lot of people worry about the charging system on the CBFs, and that might be a nice little thing you can watch rather than, you know, fit a voltage regulator, but not a regulator, voltage monitor. But, you know, for the price that it costs and for the ease of installation, the ease of use, I have to give the Thunderbox like a 10 out of 10. It's really cheap. I think I paid like 80 euro, 90 euro maybe for mine. Sorry, not really cheap. It's expensive for, I suppose, the technology that's in it. But the fact is, it takes a lot of the hassle out of electrical installations for DIYers, you know, at home working on their bikes. And that to me is a huge plus. So, you know, if you're not confident cutting wires and crimping wires, or, you know, if you really want to, soldering them, you can just quite simply get a Thunderbox and plug everything into it and it's done. So for that particular product, a 10 out of 10. I also do have a video of me installing the Thunderbox, kind of, up here. I'll leave a link. It's not so much a installation of the Thunderbox because it's two wires, as it's part of another video, but you can see what I'm doing on there, sort of. But that's literally, there was no point in me even making a video of it because it's that simple to throw on there. Then I want to talk about the Speedo Healer, and the Speedo Healer kind of is the same thing. So the Speedo Healer is basically for bikes that don't have a speed sensor like this one off the rear wheel. You can fit the Speedo Healer if you want to change your sprockets both front and back, or just front or just back, and it's basically the way of correcting your speedo. So say for instance, like on my GSX-R, it was originally 1643, and on the road now what I use is 1545, and my speedo would have been miles off. Now what I might do is I might put a little bit of a video, I kind of half made for the GSX-R in here now in the video, and if I put that piece of the video in, if I can find the footage, the original footage, you'll see kind of how easy it is to throw on and set up. It's really a couple of minutes of a job. On the GSX-R, not all bikes will be the same. Not all bikes are created equal or born the same to the same parents. But it is, no matter what, I think it's going to be a straightforward install no matter what your bike is. You know, I think it's a pretty straightforward job. And then the Quickshifter, the most important thing, the Quickshifter. Now the Speedo Healer, actually, before I finish, it is quite expensive. But you know, it works really well and it makes your speedo right, which is important on the road. The Quickshifter. Oh, it's just so much fun. You know, it definitely does obviously change the dynamics of the bike because it makes it feel more modern. And what I like is, you know, I noticed, well, not I noticed, it was very obvious. So for instance, if you look up here, I'll leave a link to the video where I installed the Quickshifter on this bike. And the Quickshifter on this bike is a fuel cut Quickshifter. Now, what that means is when you kick your shift pedal? Sure, we'll call it shift pedal. What it does is it cuts the fuel to the engine, and the whole point, if you shift it out of clutch, which you can do without a Quickshifter, the whole point of it is you need to change gear when the engine is unloaded. So that's what you're attempting to do. And what the Quickshifter does is it takes the kind of the, not guesswork, it takes the skill, I suppose, a little bit out of that job, and basically protects your gearbox. Because say you are the bestest person at clutchless shifting in the world, which you very well may be, it does not guarantee that you will never mistime something and end up smashing your gearbox to pieces, because you know you could try kick it into gear while your engine is loaded, and that is bad. So you know, the fuel cut and whatnot works really, really well because it just unloads the engine, and it guarantees to unload the engine every time, and basically ensures that the engine is unloaded when you change gear. And you know, that just, like I said, it takes the skill or the guesswork or however you want to put it, it takes that out of actually changing gear with a Quickshifter, which to me is a nice thing, because you know, I can clutchless shift, but I did mess it up once many moons ago, and it was not pleasant. It's not a comfortable feeling. So you know, it's nice to have that guesswork taken out of it, I suppose. And then you know, there's the app. So for instance, with the Speedo Healer is the same. The app is really, really good. And it just, again, it just makes the ease of the use very, very easy. And we'll stop here now and I'll just show you the app really quickly if I can. Ooh, I never know how close I am to that. But it's just a very nice little system. There's Greg. Hey Greg. Greg is my friend. Hi Greg. I'm making a video, so I just need to finish what I'm saying in the video.
Yeah, no worries. Got here like a minute or two ago.
Oh, good. I wasn't too far behind you, so. This is Greg, everyone.
Hi.
Greg bought a lovely CB500X from Freeman's. Are you liking it, Greg?
Oh, amazing.
He loves his bike, which is nice to see. Now, I shouldn't have turned this bike off, because what we need to do is turn it back on. And basically, I'll just show you the app really quickly. So, basically, where is it? IQS Easy. So this guy here is the Quickshifter Easy. As you can see, it automatically picked up to it because I have it there. Some bikes you only need to turn on the ignition and that's enough. This bike you do need to start for whatever reason. And basically you can check everything here. So say your Quickshifter is misbehaving, you can go bypass mode, switch it on and off. Setup wizard is day one setup. The RPM setup is also very nice because it'll tell you. So right now we're at about 1600 and this is saying about 1500, so you know, you can change that if it's not right. The sensor setup, again, this is for the actual kick sensor. I did have problems with that, the sensor originally. I'll talk about that in a second. This one I really like. So cutoff times, so adaptive auto, you can change it to expert and change it to longer if you're not comfortable, but I left it in adaptive, and about 100 milliseconds for this bike is working perfect. And that's kind of it. You know, you can change your password so people can't log into it basically if they're near you with the Bluetooth thing, which, I mean, with this bike it doesn't matter because you have to have it turned on for someone to log in, and that's pretty much it. But I have to say, you know, the bike, the Quickshifter thing itself has worked really, really well for me. Like I said, the only thing that I ever did experience with it was the little sensor that you hook up, which you see in the installation video. It was slightly a pain to get right. It not that I didn't want to work day one, but it's really picky about how much you tighten it. You have to be really, really precise tightening it, and you have to be really precise with the washers. They do say you can take off the washers then if you're not still getting the right reading. Obviously now this one's working just fine, just lovely. So yeah, but that's something you do need to be careful of, just to get it set up right, get it functioning right, because obviously you don't want that misbehaving and possibly damaging something. But other than that, that's kind of it. So, you know, the Thunderbox, I think if you are a DIY at-home person who doesn't want to cut wires on your bike and isn't really sure that type of thing, it's absolutely brilliant. Or if you're like me and you're just lazy and want to be able to remove the bits from your bike later, the Thunderbox is really, really good. I kind of put prices for all of them on the screen now if I can. The Speedo Healer is just brilliant for older bikes especially, or bikes that have like a speed sensor off the gearbox. It just fixes it, you know what I mean? It just works. It fixes your speedo, which, like I said, some people say they don't really care about, but I did care about it. I want to see what speed I'm doing, so that was a really nice little fix. And you know, straightforward install on the gsxr, and it looks to be a straightforward install on pretty much all bikes, and is really worthwhile buying and investing in if you're going to be changing sprockets a lot. You know, I changed my sprockets around for the track as well. And not that I'd bother changing the speedo for the track because you don't look at it at all. But, you know, that is another thing to take into consideration. You know, if you're going to be swapping sprockets a lot just to test things, you can just hop onto your phone and change that around again. You know, the phone tells you exactly what to put the settings at on the little box, and then it's done. And then the Quickshifter, like I said, video of the installation up there. For this bike, it was pretty straightforward. A little bit more taken apart to get it all kind of done nicely. Probably the most involved install of any of the Healtech stuff that I've used, but overall still nice, straightforward and easy. And I would highly recommend it if you have an older bike but want that Quickshifter experience. You can just go straight to Healtech and get their little Quickshifter Easy, and it's called Quickshifter Easy, and it is really easy to use once you get it installed and functioning right. Like I said, a little bit of playing around, get everything balanced up nicely and done. But yeah, if you watched, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions on any of the products I mentioned, I paid for all of them myself 100%. Healtech probably don't even know I exist, but I do like their products, so I would recommend them. And yeah, until next time, a very special thank you to all of my patrons as always. I do appreciate your support. Some of the Healtech stuff was funded in part by the patrons, so massively appreciated. And yeah, until next time, thank you very much for watching. Adios. Outro crew, Greg is going to ask you a question. Yeah. Oh, took him by surprise. Come on, Greg.
Quick question. On a bike, would you like either a top box or a pannier to the side? Either or. What's your preference?
Okay, so if you didn't hear that, what Greg has asked is, would you prefer to have only a top box or only panniers on your bike? Or both? Or both?
Or both.
Or both. Yeah, let us know in the comments. Bye, outro crew. Let's go.